exactly as you are hearing here. God says that the Jews have crimes, and those crimes are going to be uncovered. And if you remember, between January the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I received several dreams from the Lord that I then published on January the 4th. And then a few days later, on January the 7th or 8th, there was a huge hubbub here where a Jewish synagogue, I think it's Chabad was raided. And then all of a sudden, that's when we here in New York found out that they have little rat tunnels all over the city. And then we were treated to the sight of Jews running away from that police raid, running under the city, and then popping up all over the city through hidden tunnels that most people, the majority of people, did not know that they possessed. And due to the beauty of social media, sometimes people were able to capture those exits from underneath the city live, post them all over social media, and in true Western media form, this story was not covered as it should have been covered. If such a story broke in the United States that Muslims had access to tunnels all through New York City, one of the busiest cities. It may not be the top political city, that's DC, but definitely if it was found out that so-called jihadists or ISIS or Muslims or any of the other groups that America has designated as the boogeyman had access to tunnels that radiate all under New York City, we would see it getting the same kind of coverage that 9/11 got. But there was barely a peep in the news. TikTok did a better job of covering that story than the mainstream media did. Shortly after that, rabbis began to talk. They began to talk, and one rabbi was caught and exposed for selling children's foreskins on, there's a website, Craigslist, and he was selling them as food items, and people were buying them. He was exposed. Rabbis began to talk. They've been talking. They've been exposing the sexual molestation. They've been exposing the internalized trafficking of young children, marrying off of children who are way too young to be brides. This is not a child bride country. Everybody in America feels that the child brideness is strictly the purview of the Muslims, and yet it's happening here in this community, but a blind eye is being turned to it. You might as well know that here in New York City, Jews have a separate police force. America was up in arms when we discovered that China has a separate police force here in New York City. China has a separate police force that operates outside of the NYPD. Separate cops, separate cop cars. But did you know that here in New York City, that Jews have Panda cars that are marked almost identically to the NYPD, and that they are allowed to operate with impunity as a separate police force to police their own community, to have almost identical powers to the cops? And it's very rare for the cops to venture into those communities. I only found that out this year, and I've seen them with my own eyes. So we have cops, and then we have cops in New York City. And so this is what the Lord is saying, that there are crimes in this community, and they will be exposed internationally. And the last thing that God has said emphatically, and I now repeat without holding back, is that the false Jews will come out of his inheritance. That will be Jerusalem, Temple Mount, all the surrounding areas that he sees as his inheritance, because simply put, he said, I did not give it to them.